a nice day. What is his name? His name is Steven. Steven, how's it going?
How you doing? Doing all right? Yeah. Another case here,
Okay. All right. Let's see. You're heading to the Amway.
Amway.
All right.
What we got, about a half hour?
About 22, 23 minutes.
All right.
A little less than a half hour. It's not too bad of a little travel. I've given this trip a lot this weekend.
I'm sure you have. It's going to get heavier too. There's a convention coming into town.
Yeah. I was like, fun. Like the airport runs are where it's at. You know, got to deal with drunk people.
Oh, of course.
And most of them are, decent length, so it works out. Because it was, it's been pretty slow, like in the downtown area. And in large fault, it's because of the holiday. It's a lot of people will be returning this weekend.
It's true.
And so then maybe the nightlife will start picking back up. But if I ain't got to drive the bar crowd, I ain't gonna drive the bar crowd. So I'm not complaining.
I don't blame you at all. I don't think I've ever been to this part of Michigan.
Oh yeah?
I think the only place I've been in Michigan is Detroit.
Really? Only on the east side of the state.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what are you closest to? Chicago?
Yep. If you were to go west, or if you were to keep going west, you'd run into Lake Michigan. On the other side of Lake Michigan is, Illinois,
How
Wisconsin. If you were to take the highway to get to Chicago, it's 172 miles.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's not that long of a travel. Like
2 hours.
Yeah, about 2 hours driving.
2.5 hours.
And if traffic's light, you can always go about 85 on the highway and just set cruise control, because everybody goes 85 in Chicago anyway. So, but yeah, it's not that bad of a travel at all. Like
Great place to go for a weekend getaway.
My girlfriend wanted to do that over St. Patrick's Day weekend, and she randomly said it like Friday at like 1 in the afternoon, and I was like, oh, all right.
You were gone.
Yeah, we were gone.
It's a great city.
Oh yeah. I wonder if this guy knows he doesn't have to stop right here.
I don't see any stop signs.
Yeah, there's no stop right here. You're supposed to just proceed with caution.
Must be a rental car.
Either that or it's a brand new Uber driver. You can always, like, if you see Uber drivers, you can always tell the new ones from this kind of seasoned ones. Like, the seasoned ones have seen a lot of crazy stuff from passengers, especially if they drove the bar crowd. I had my sister's car. The window got broke out one night waiting for a passenger to come out. And
now, does the company take care of that?
If it would have been the passenger's fault, they would have billed the passenger for it. But it was just two random guys.
But, I mean, you didn't have to cover it.
No, I did. Unfortunately, it was. But I went to a junkyard, paid $25 for the window, so it didn't really hurt the wallet.
Even so,
it did suck though. Like I reached out to Uber about it, and they were like, "Well, it wasn't your passenger," and I was like, "I get that." I was like, "But I was logged into the app, so what's up with that?" I was like, "You guys aren't going to protect me in that sense," and just you got to take the good with the bad in that part
that's
of
life,
it.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is life.
I chalked it up to wrong place, wrong time. Like if
Good attitude.
Yeah, and if I hadn't been there, I'm not saying I saved the guy's life that got thrown through my window, but what if he would have shoved him, he would have fell into the road? And the car would have came barreling through. So maybe my car window saved his life that night. Instead of waking up in a hospital, he woke up with a sore back.
My goodness gracious.
He's flying. Must be in a rush.
What if he's going to Chicago?
He might be. Well, he's going the wrong way if he's going to Chicago.
Oh, is this east?
Yeah, well, yeah, this is heading eastbound right now. Like we're heading southeast right now, so he's heading the wrong way. If he wants to go to Chicago,
He's in a hurry wherever he's going.
Yeah, he needs to go back to M6 and take M6 and 196.
So what's the big business here?
Beer. Beer. Lots and lots of beer. We have various breweries around here. We've got Founders Brewery. We've got New Holland Brewery, which is like a sister brewery to New Holland Brewery in Holland. That's the original one, is in Holland. I live in Holland. We've got plenty of different microbrews at all the breweries. They all have their own little mixture and combination of them. But Founders is the most notorious. They have their own distribution of it. I think they have like 850 different various brew combinations throughout the year. And in the summer months, they have normally this light blinks. Normally it isn't a sound light. Well, yeah, guy, that was a red light. Yeah, okay.
I don't know if he's got rid of it.
Oh yeah.
He does too?
Yeah. Well, I guess he was in a hurry too. Everybody seems to be in such a hurry. I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not in a hurry. Like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So.
Yep.
But yeah, so I would say, I mean, if you like beer, I would recommend like checking out Founders if you're going to be in town for a couple of days. And if you're into like the nightclub scene with dancing,
yeah, too old for that.
It's kind of my thing. Like I'm not even 30 yet. Like I'll be 30, but I would never go to like a club. I'd go to a bar, maybe have a couple of beers, but not a dance club.
Is this a cemetery?
This is a cemetery, yes. Yeah, this is one of the smaller cemeteries. Like there's a couple of cemeteries near the downtown area, and some of them are relatively large. Some of the other things that I guess we're pretty popular for is, the Amway. This was the original Amway Grand Plaza.
Right.
This was like I think it was one of the first ones, if I'm not mistaken. And it's got a really nice view of the Grand River as well as downtown. Like it overlooks downtown.
Well,
So
nice.
yeah, it's a really nice view, and it's right next to all kinds of things. If you're a fan of steak, like my girlfriend is, they have right across from the Amway. Like if you go out the main doors off of Monroe, there is a place called the Chop House. They have amazing steak. If you've
That's
ever
a great name for a steakhouse.
yeah, if you've ever had Gibson's in Chicago.
Oh, my favorite steakhouse.
Okay. So
Gibson's. Oh.
the price is about the same, and the food quality is just as good.
Yeah, all right. One night I'm going to have to do that.
Yep. When you walk out of the Amway, if you just look diagonal to your left about 125 feet, you'll see it right there. It says the
man.
Chop House.
Sounds good right now. Woo!
That's where my girlfriend and I went for dinner that Saturday evening when
That
we were in
cost you
Chicago.
$150, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. Well, our bill was $99.51
For two people?
for two people.
Just steak or no
I
drinks?
had a BLT because I had to try. That was a massive BLT, by the way. I was like, that is a massive
I didn't
BLT.
even know they served that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And then I was looking at it, and my girlfriend got what'd she get? I think it was like a 4 or 6 ounce. And she had like 2 shots of tequila, and then I had 2 Bud Lights, and like it was really nice. When we went in there, like I was wearing a hoodie and blue jeans, so like some of the guys were looking at me like, can this guy even afford this? And I was like, yeah, I can afford this, I'm good. And he brought me out my beer, and he brought a frosted glass. I was like, oh no, you can just give me the bottle, man. I was like, that's fine. I was like, I don't need a frosted glass. But it was fun. Like we had a good time in Chicago, and I had been there a couple of other times. Like I brought a passenger down there one night and did a round trip back.
Wow.
But like for my girlfriend, the last time she had been out of state, it was when she was a kid. So she didn't even. When we're going down the highway and the time changes, she goes, "What time is it?" And I was like, "Well, where we live, it's like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, it's 10 o'clock at night right now.
Right, hour difference.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, it's just, she goes, yeah, but wasn't it just, I was like, well, yeah, I was like, the time changes. I was like, it doesn't stop, it just changes.
What time does it get dark here?
Right now with the summer solstice, about 9:30, 9:45, it'll finally set. And it gives really nice, that's the one thing I like about the summer is the sunsets are
Beautiful.
oh yeah. And especially when you're like if you're driving on the highway going through like the downtown area, the sunset behind downtown looks incredible.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And then if you come in off of M6, which is the adjoining highway that connects this highway to 196, like right now we're on I-96. This goes all the way down over to Detroit, but the other highway goes north and south. And
how far is Detroit?
from downtown Grand Rapids, it's about 160 miles.
So like Grand Rapids is halfway between Chicago and Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, it's a little bit more north, obviously. But
Mackinac Island.
Mackinac from here, Grand Rapids is probably. It's been so long since I went up there. It's a good 5 hours.
Oh, it's a ways.
Yeah, it's a ways to get to the bridge. And when last time I was at Mackinac Island, or the bridge, Mackinac Bridge was had to have been 15 years old. And that's the longest mile bridge I've ever been on in my life. And it's
What is it, 1 mile?
Yep, it's exactly 1 mile. And they've got you can drive over the bridge, but they also have underneath the bridge, they have these separate walkways. And you can
walk it.
Yeah, you can walk it.
That's
and
pretty cool.
it is. It's very cool, but very scary too. Like when you're a teenager, you think you're invincible, and you're just looking down, and you're like, oh my god, it's like, what if this was to give way? Because it's a very old bridge. They're always doing work on it, trying to,
Where's Ann Arbor?
Ann Arbor is, if you head more eastern, or it's like northeast of, so if you go, it'd be northwest of Detroit, but it's from the Lansing area, it'd be a little northeast of that. It's right in between Lansing and Detroit. So you got Detroit is over here, you got Lansing right here, Ann Arbor's right here. So they're kind of like a.
And where's Grand Rapids?
Grand Rapids is more over this way.
So how far are we? Maybe 100 miles
From the lake?
from Ann Arbor.
Yeah, about 100 miles, 90 to 100 miles.
And that's where Michigan University is?
Yep.
Or University of Michigan?
Yep, U of M. And I mean,
And Michigan State?
Michigan State, yes, that is in.
Is that Lansing?
That is Lansing, yes.
Got it. Big interstate rivalry, huh?
Oh yeah, it's and that's the thing. They're so close to each other in relative time. It takes less than an hour to get between the two.
That's like USC and UCLA.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're like a half hour apart.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're right down the road from each other.
Yeah. Same deal.
And it sometimes, I guess, it's like that kind of. I wish that we had more of an athletic division, or a more athletically derived college on this side of the state. Because then it could be like East versus West.
So how far is Notre Dame?
Notre Dame would be.
It's not real far, is it?
I want to say it's still about 90 miles. Well, maybe not 90.
Is it going towards Chicago?
Yeah, it'd be going towards Chicago, so it's probably, well, maybe it is about 90 miles. It's got to be about 80 miles, at least 80 miles, because, yeah, it's got to be at least 80 miles.
You ever been?
I have not.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wish that some of my trips went to really obscure places, because then I get to see them. And if I haven't seen them before, I get to see them now, especially as an adult. That's the best part about it. I love getting to see stuff now, because when you're a teenager and you see stuff, you don't really.
Yeah, you don't have time for it.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, whatever, When I was a teenager, my mom had an ex-boyfriend that was a truck driver, and he asked me if I wanted to go on a run with him out to Oregon.
To where, Oregon?
Yep. And so we went through Colorado, Iowa, and we got to hang out in Oregon for a couple of days. But as a teenager, I was like, oh, whatever, cool, whatever, sweet. But as an adult, I was like, oh man, I really wish I would have paid more attention to really soak it all in. And it would have been fun. I mean, I remember the pressure changed when we got near Colorado. Like the air got thinner, so I felt, like I couldn't breathe. He's like, it'll pass. Yeah, and he's like, don't worry. He's like, it'll pass in a couple hours. He's like, you'll be breathing fine. And I was like, okay. But yeah, it'd be really fun. And like when we went down to Chicago, my girlfriend's like,
Was that you or me?
That's me. That's my girlfriend sending me a text message. But yeah, I told her she asked when the next time we took a road trip was. She's got 3 kids of her own, and then I've got 1, so we've always got a handful with the kids.
4 kids.
Yeah, it's fun though. They're active, very, very active. And she was talking about going to like Mall of America, and I was like, you want to go to Mall of America? I was like, she's like, yeah, I've never been there.
That's a long ways, isn't it? Isn't it on the other side of Chicago?
It is technically on the other side of Chicago. However, from where we were in Lyons, when we were down in Chicago, it was probably 3 hours, not even 3 hours, probably about 2.5 hours away. So I mean, it wasn't
maybe 5 hours from here.
Yeah, about 5 hours.
I've never been there.
That's the thing. Like I remember when WCW Monday Nitro first debuted, it was in Mall of America. And like Lex Luger, he showed up, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is great. I was like, I gotta go to Mall of America, and I never went, because I was like, I'm too old now to go. And when I think about it, like, there's tons of places we could go visit. Like, the farthest south I've been, I went down to Atlanta, Georgia. Like, I went through Tennessee, I was with my sister's boyfriend, I was doing like it was like a not a traveling fair, but it was like an obstacle course for kids with disabilities, and so all the colleges were supporting it, and so we went down there. We had to set up all this stuff, but I got to see Atlanta, and it was in October, and it just so happened on that day it snowed, and people were going crazy in Atlanta. Like, they couldn't believe that it was snowing. Like they don't get snow. Yeah, they were hearing, like we were listening to the radio, and they were talking about canceling school the next day, and I was like, oh, this is nothing. I was like, this is barely powder. But yeah, like, there's one, I haven't been to New York yet, but I'd assume at some point I probably would go to New York. Yeah. But my oldest sister had moved out to Niagara for a little while.
Niagara Falls?
Yep.
That's cool. We were just there a couple of years ago for the first time. Beautiful.
Well, and see, that's the thing, like, I see all the pictures of it and stuff, and like I said, when you see it when you're younger, you don't really, soak it all in. Yeah. But when you get old, as you start getting older, you're like, man, it's like I really do want to, go see that stuff.
It's true.
Because you think of like a good example. I had a passenger yesterday, and she's like, oh, well, Grand Rapids is kind of a small city, and I was like, it is. It is a relatively small city. The population for the consensus back in 2014 was barely 200,000 for downtown Grand Rapids. Now, it didn't include like the Kentwood area, Wyoming, and Granville, and like the surrounding sub-cities, but still, it's still a really small population compared to like Austin, Texas. That's got 1 million people in it.
Yep. That's a city that's surprisingly big.
It is, and it's
got
beautiful.
University of Texas there.
Yep. And Austin is a beautiful, beautiful city. When I went down to Austin back in 2012 for it was like an internet marketing conference that I went to, and I loved it. Like, it was great. It was the funnest 3 days I had. I was like, oh, this is great, beautiful city, and it was totally different compared to like Grand Rapids. Like, traffic was a lot denser. Like, I mean, like, people from Michigan think traffic's dense when it's 5 o'clock, and I'm just like, man, I was like, you should see some of these other highways.
Oh yeah.
I was like, they get backed up for like an hour, way before people even get out of work. I was like, it's always busy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like,
Rush hour usually starts about 2.
Exactly, rush hour starts at 2 and ends at 7 or 8 sometimes. And I'm like, oh man, like, our rush hour is, it's usually about 4:30 until, maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, if it's super busy, if there's something big going on. And it doesn't help with all the construction that we're always doing. Oh, I love our construction. It's great. I love our construction. It likes to slow some of the traffic to a crawl. Like, for the longest time, this part of this exit, like Ottawa, was completely closed off. So you had to do like a roundabout way and take alternate routes to get in. And I was like, I'm so glad this part is open. But they always have a lot of stuff going on in the downtown area. Like, let's see, it's almost the end of July now, so about halfway through the month. So about midway through August, they begin, they call it the Art Prize. And so a lot of local artists, as well as some famous artists, they post their artwork throughout the DeVos Center, throughout the Van Andel Arena. And basically it's a big contest of, whoever people think that are, this best artist stuff. But there's a lot of tourists that come in. That was when I first started driving last year. And one of my first trips, I'd picked up a lady that came from China, just to see this artwork. And I was like, you probably could have just like Googled it, And she's like, oh, I wanted to see it in person. And I was like, all right. I was like, here we are. And it gets really congested downtown. There's a lot of foot traffic that goes on. So there's a lot of, police that are trying to direct traffic, and it's fun though. It's very fun. It's a fun little city is what Grand Rapids is.
It's cool.
Fun little city. But I would definitely say if you like steak, check out the Chop House.
Chop House,
yep,
for sure.
Right across the street. If you want to try out a couple of beers, there's Atwater right here. I would definitely say check out Founders. They are the original large brewery that we had in Grand Rapids.
Tell me, is this DeVos?
This is the DeVos Center, yes. So it goes from that corner block all the way down to the next corner.
And this is the main entrance? Or?
Any of these three entrances here are the main entrances, but this main entrance is right where all these crosswalks are. There's a set of doors up here that you'll be able to go in and out of. So, but are they having the convention at the Amway, or are they having it
here?
Okay. And this convention tonight that they're doing is like a celebration of.
Wow.
It's
Indian.
Yep.
Indian or Pakistani.
Indian Pakistani. It's about celebrating their social differences.
All these people live here?
No. Oh. All these people most of them probably flew in. I've dropped off a lot of them, but that is the main entrance.
That's the main entrance.
Yep.
And where's the Amway?
The Amway is at this next light. It's right on the other side of this next light, right up here. So it's all right
about
in
2 or 3 blocks.
Well, this is all technically one block.
Is this an entrance also?
Yep. These are all entrances right here.
Oh, okay.
And so if you do end up taking more Ubers, if you stand outside and drop your location, it'll find it very easily, and the driver will be able to find you. If you do it inside, it might put them on the back side of the building because it might try to think you're in the river.
Now, is this to the bus also?
This comes all the way out to this corner, and it goes all the way back to the remainder of the river. So in between these two stoplights right here, this is the Amway Grand. This light brown and darker brown building. This is the Amway right up here.
Okay. That's not real far.
Yeah. It's
like a block.
Yeah, it's literally, you can just cross the street there, and
there.
As you see, plenty of foot traffic here.
Holy moly.
But like I said, they are here for a convention as well. So
this is the main entrance to Amway.
This is the main entrance to the Amway.
Awesome.
And then, just up the road, you've got Founders. And
where's the JW?
The JW is right around the corner here. If you take this and you go to the left at the next light, you got the JW.
Perfect.